Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. Today we are entering into a new topic, which is the second part of the chapter, which is called as capacitor and capacitance. So what is capacitor and what is capacitance? Now capacitor is a type of device and capacitance is its property. Okay, you need to differentiate between what is a capacitor and capacitance. Capacitor, whenever we talk about capacitor, it is just a device. Now capacitance means it is the property of the device. Okay, so what is a capacitor? Now capacitor is a device that can store a large amount of charges. Okay, amount of charges can be stored in a capacitor in a very small area. Now look at the picture. I have shown some samples of the capacitors. Hope you would have seen all these things in many electrical gadgets like fluorescent lamps and fans. Now capacitor is otherwise also called as condenser. Okay, whenever we talk about capacitor, there is one more name for us which is called as condenser. Condenser or a capacitor. It is just a device which can store large amount of charges in a very small area. If you have seen a capacitor, it will be very small. Okay, in a very small area you have so much amount of charges that are stored, which is called as a capacitor. Okay, and capacitance is the ability of the device to store the charges. So whenever we talk about the ability of a device to store the charges, you call it as capacitance. Okay ma, so why do we store this charge? Okay, why do we need to store this charge? Means storing is nothing but storing charges is nothing but storing of energy. Now charges, whenever we talk about charges, it has the property of what is called as an electric field, which is an energy. So whenever energy is stored, it can be used. As far as capacitors are concerned, they will give energy instantaneously. Supply of energy is given at a faster rate. For example, let us take a camera flash. Okay, in these cameras, whenever you take a photo, you will have instantaneous flash that is coming out of the camera. Have you seen that? Now camera also has batteries, but that battery is not supplying this instant energy which is a flash. It requires very high energy. So that high energy is given by the capacitor which is present in it. To start any instruments, like suppose if it is fan, if it is fluorescent lamp, to start it, to initially start it, we need very high energy, we need very high electrical energy, which is given by these type of capacitors. Okay ma, so you understood what is a capacitor? It stores electrical energy and that energy is given out instantaneously to start something. To start that flash which is of very high energy, it is given by the condenser or the capacitor. Okay, so let us move on to what is a capacitor, how a capacitor is made, right? So it is a system of two conductors. Now look at this picture. I have shown you two conductors, conductor 1, conductor 2. And as you all know, the charges are stored out on the surface of the conductor. So the charges are stored outside. So they are separated by an insulator. Whenever we talk about a capacitor, capacitor is nothing but system of two conductors separated by an insulator. Now in between the two conductors you have an insulator. Now as far as whenever we talk about conductors, we take two metallic conductors. In between you have a medium which is air, and you may have dielectric also, which we are going to learn in the next chapters. But When you define a capacitor, it is nothing but a system of two conductors separated by an insulator. Now look at this diagram. Now I have taken, there are two conductors, conductor 1, conductor 2, and Q1 and Q2, let them be the charges. Q1, one conductor is filled with Q1 charge, the other one is filled with Q2 charge, and they have the potential V1 and V2. Okay, now the potential difference between them is V1 minus V2, right? Now, whenever we talk about two metallic conductors, now as I said, metallic conductors, now this is considered to be positively charged and this is considered to be negatively charged, and when metals are kept with a distance d, now will we not have an electric field between them? So definitely there will be an electric field, yes or no? So in between the region of the metallic plates, which one is positively charged and the other one is negatively charged, you have electric field. Now how about this electric field in this region? Okay, now this electric field in the region is proportional to the charges that are present. So electric field is directly proportional to the charge. If you have more number of charges, you have more amount of electric field. Okay, and if you are going to double, suppose if you have, now let us see that there are how many charges are here, 4. Now if these charges are going to be doubled, if the charges on this metallic plate is going to be double, what happens to the electric field also? The electric field also will be doubled. Okay, so this is about, right? And also we talk about what is called as potential difference. What is potential difference? You are very familiar with. Now whenever we talk about charges, we need to talk about two very important things. One is electric field, the other one is electric potential or electric potential difference, right? So what is electric potential difference here is, it is nothing but, you know the definition for electric potential difference, it is the amount of work done to move a unit positive charge from one point to another. Here we'll say from conductor 2 to conductor 1. Now when you do the work from conductor 2 to conductor 1, you are doing the work against the electric field. Look at this diagram here. Now here it is positively charged, here it is negatively charged. If I wanted to take a test charge from here to here, I should do the work against the electric field. So we can say that Q, the amount of charge that is present, also is proportional to V. So it also depends on the electric potential. So Q proportional to V and also Q proportional to electric field, right? But so when I replace this proportionality, this proportionality is replaced by a constant called C, or I can also write C as Q by V, which is nothing but the capacitance of a conductor. So the ratio of Q by V is a constant, and that constant is nothing but, you call it as the capacitance of the conductor. So the capacitance depends on, the capacitance of a conductor depends on the potential and also the electric field. So how the potential should be and how the electric field. Now if it is, now the charges, that all depends on the charges that are there in the conductor. Okay, and as such the equation, when you see it resembles that the capacitance depends on risk Q and V. So not only, now of course you have a relation here, but the capacitance of a conductor mainly depends on the geometrical configuration. Geometrical in the sense, it depends upon the size of the capacitor, shape, and also the separation of the plates. So these are the main factors on which the capacitance of a capacitor depends on. Now greater, smaller the size, smaller will be the capacitance of a conductor. Smaller the shape, smaller will be the capacitance. And the difference, the distance between the plates, that we are going to do it in the next topic. So all these are the factors which determines the capacitance of a capacitor. Not only this, but also one more factor is there, which is nothing but the dielectric. Now I was talking about the air which acts as a dielectric. I was talking about air as a dielectric in the previous topic. When I was introducing about dielectric and polarization, I said air is a dielectric. Dielectrics are nothing but insulators. Okay, so these are the two things which mainly are the factors for the capacitance of a capacitor. Okay, now let us come back to this equation, and of course before we go into the next topic, we'll see what is the unit for capacitance. I wrote here C is equal to Q by V. Okay, so the amount of charge depends on the potential, right? Now here Q is the unit of Q is, of course, charge. It is measured as coulomb, and potential, it is represented, the unit of potential difference is volt. So coulomb per volt is the SI unit of capacitance, and usually you represent a capacitor like this. Okay, two parallel lines. Now this is a symbol for a capacitor. Now this is a symbol for a fixed capacitance. There are some capacitors will have always fixed value. When you just take a capacitor, like here, they would have mentioned the values here, and also here this is the value. Some of the values are written here, so they have fixed values. So those capacitors are called as fixed capacitors. And there are capacitors with variable value of capacitance. Again, it is represented by an arrow. So if arrow represents, now this is nothing but you call it as variable capacitance. Now this equations resemble the equation with respect to a resistance. You remember the equation of resistance when you studied Ohm's law in 10th standard. Now all these are considered to be passive components of a circuit. We talk about resistors in 10th standard. You read about what is called as a resistor. Okay, resistance. Now the formula for resistance is R is equal to V by I. V by I, and we said V proportional to I, and that proportionality is replaced by a constant called R. So the resistance, but we saw that the resistance does not depend on the potential and current, but it depends on what? Resistance equal to rho into what is the formula? What is this rho? Resistance depends on the length of the material and area of cross section, and this proportionality replaced by a constant called rho, which is called as electrical resistivity. Hope you remember all these things. Although we have a formula based on voltage and current, but the factors on which the resistance depends on was found to be the length and area of cross section of the material. Similarly here, whenever we talk about the capacitance of a conductor or the capacitance of a capacitor, it depends on the size, shape and separation. So same thing, resistor we read about what is called a capacitor, and we are going to talk about one more thing which is called as an inductor in forthcoming chapters. So these resistors, inductors, capacitors, they are all the passive components of a circuit. It forms a circuit, RLC network. We are going to talk about resistor, inductor, capacitor circuits. We are going to learn all these things. Okay, so now let us come back to this. C is equal to Q by V. Okay, suppose for large values of capacitance, now how should be the value of potential? Okay, now let us go back to this diagram. As I told you, now if more amount of charges are going to be here, if the charges are going to be more, what happens to the electric field? The electric field also will be very, very strong. Okay, so now it will have more amount of electrical field, right? Now this is a very familiar concept, but Look at this equation. For the capacitance to be larger, what should be the value of potential? The potential should be smaller or larger? Now here the answer for this question is the potential should be smaller. Now look at again this situation. If the potential is going to be larger, or the potential difference is going to be larger, potential difference is, as you all know, the work done to bring a charge from one point to another, which is nothing but potential difference, right? Now if the potential difference is going to be larger, then what happens to the electric field? The electric field also will become larger. What happens if the electric field is going to be larger? That electric field will ionize the air molecules that are present in here. So what happens when it starts? What is ionization? Ionization is removal of electrons. Now here in between, what is the medium? I said in between this is a air medium. So if the potential is going to be large, naturally the electric field also will become larger, which in case will ionize the air molecules. Now if the air molecules are going to be ionized, the electrons in the air molecules will start getting attracted to the charges that are positive here, and here the charges starts leaking. Okay, so in that case you cannot no more store the charges in the capacitor. So that should not be there. So how should the potential be? The potential should be much more smaller, which increases the capacitance of a conductor, capacitance of a capacitor. So how should be the potential? The potential should be so small to increase the value of capacitance. If it is going to be greater, it improves or it increases the electric field around the conductor, which ionizes the air molecules that are surrounding, which causes the charges to get leaked. Okay, so the maximum electric field that should be given, that is called as breakdown also. Dielectric breakdown we'll say when charges starts leaking due to the ionization of air molecules. So the property of the dielectric strength of air, the dielectric strength of air is 3 into 10 power fold, 10 power 4 volt. That should be the that is the dielectric strength. Now beyond that, if potential is given, the air molecules charges link, and you cannot no more store the charges in the conductor. So we have to see that for a capacitor to store a large amount of charge without leaking, its capacitance should be high enough so that the potential difference and also the electric field will not exceed the breakdown limits. That should be taken care to have a very high value for the capacitance, or for the charges to be stored in the capacitor. We should see to that the electric field and the potential difference should not exceed the value. If it is going to be exceeding, again what happens? The charges starts leaking. So this is about the storing of charges in a capacitor. Okay, and usually the SI unit of capacitance, I said it is also C is equal to Coulomb per volt, and also the SI unit of capacitance is, the SI unit of capacitance is farad. Now this is in remembrance of the scientist Michael Faraday. So the SI unit of capacitance was named to be farad. Usually this farad is considered to be very large unit, like how we considered in electrostatics. Coulomb is considered to be very large, so we go for smaller units of it. Similarly here also we go for submultiples, that is units or its submultiples, which is 1 microfarad. Now 1 microfarad, in the sense 1 microfarad is equal to 10 power minus 6 farad. Similarly 1 nanofarad is equal to 10 power minus 9 farad. So picofarad. So all these smaller units are used. Okay, so this is about the introduction of capacitor. Next, we'll move on to a very what will you say, a basic capacitor, which is called as a parallel plate capacitor. Now, to make you understand this concept, I should recall the behavior of electric field, the behavior of a conductor in an electric field. Now, in that, we just came out with a formula for electric field due to a conductor. Now we just I don't know whether you remember it or not. We just arrived at a formula to find out the electric field at the surface of a charged conductor. Now it was found to be sigma by epsilon naught. Remember this? I'm going to use this equation here. Now let us consider, first we'll go on to the introduction of what is a parallel plate capacitor. So a parallel plate capacitor, it is considering of two plain parallel conducting plates. Now this is plate 1, this is plate 2. Okay, and they are separated by a small distance, small d. So d is the distance of separation of these two plates, and area A, the area of the plate is considered to be A, and they have surface charge density sigma. Now see here, now this is plus sigma because this plate is positively charged. So this plate has got a surface charge density plus sigma, and here it is negatively charged. So the surface charge density is minus sigma here. Okay, and the intervening medium, what is the medium between these two plates? It is nothing but air or air or vacuum. Excuse me, children. Okay, now if you are going to have a dielectric in between this plate, the capacitance can be increased. That we are going to learn in the next chapter, next topic, sorry. Right? Now, at present we consider the intervening medium to be air. Okay, ma? Right. So, now what are the charges of the two plates? The charges are plus Q and minus Q. And we know that the electric field by an infinite plane sheet. Now we have now let us consider, now before I go on, let me teach you that first. Now let us consider a plane sheet here. Now here also a plane sheet. Now this is A and this is B. Now what is the electric field between these two plates at this point P? And let us consider P here, P1 here and P2 here. Look at this topic very clearly, children. Only then you will be able to understand what I am teaching you. Right? So let us take 3 points. One is P, P1 and P2. Now here let us consider this plate is to be positively charged and this plate to be negatively charged. Now let us consider this first point. Now what is the electric field at this point due to these two plates? Okay, now we know from Gauss law that electric field due to a plane sheet of infinite plane sheet, what is the formula? It is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. I don't know you are remembering this equation. Now take this equation and substitute here. Now this is at point P1. Let us take this first plate. With respect to this first plate, imagine a test charge here. Now imagine a test charge here. What is the electric field with respect to this plane sheet? You will have the electric field to be in the direction like this. This is the electric field due to the sheet A, which is positively charged due at this point P1, which is E1. Right? Okay, so which is given as E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Then come to this point, this sheet. Now here is a test charge. Now here it is negatively charged. So what is the electric field direction? Electric field is E2. Okay, magnitude of the electric field is same. It is sigma by 2 epsilon. Whether this is this sheet or this sheet, electric field magnitude is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This we have already derived. What is the direction at this point P? It is in the opposite direction. So what is the total electric field? Total electric field is 0 because E1 is sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus minus E2 is minus sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So when you substitute, electric field at this point will be 0. Okay, ma? Similarly, at this point, P2, again, look at the electric field here. Electric field is positively charged. Imagine a test charge to be here. So what is the direction of electric field due to plate A is E1, which is in this direction, okay, because it is a force of repulsion. Now come to this charge, come to this plate, this is negatively charged. Now test charge is positive. So what is the direction of electric field? This will be the electric field. Now this is E1, this is E2. So what is the total electric field at point P2? Again here it is 0. Okay ma? Now what is the electric field at this point P? Okay, now at this point you consider this point here. Now this point, what is electric field due to A? I'm writing here. Okay, what is electric field due to A? Electric field due to A is, again it is a positive test charge. The direction of electric field will be in this direction, E1. Let me write this. So it is sigma by 2 epsilon naught, okay, which is due to plate A. Similarly, what is electric field due to plate B? Plate B, again it is negatively charged, here positive. Again the direction will be in this direction, which is E2. So EB is also equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So what is the net electric field? Net electric field will be EA plus EB, which is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught, which is 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught. When it gets cancelled, I will get the value of electric field to be sigma by epsilon naught, which I derived already here. Now this is with respect to two plates. Okay, now look at your textbook. The same equation is given. Outer region, whenever we talk about these two plates, now what is the difference here is, I have drawn the plates here vertically. Now here they have drawn it horizontally. That's all. So they have taken two regions. One is this region. See here, electric field at region 1, at region 2 they have taken. So outer region of the plate, whether it is one region or two region, in both the regions the electric field is 0, right? Now in the inner region, what is electric field? As I did this step, in the inner region you have the electric field to be having the value of E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. So the direction of electric field is always from positive to negative. So this is the direction of electric field. Look at the direction of electric field. It is from positive to negative, right? Okay. So what is sigma? We know the value of surface charge density. Sigma is equal to Q by A. So substitute for sigma as Q by A. You have the formula for electric field to be Q by epsilon naught into A. So this is Q, children. So this is the value of electric field. Now from this I can calculate the value of potential. What is the formula for potential? Potential V is equal to, what is the formula? It is E into D. That is E is equal to minus dV by dx. Okay, that is negative potential gradient. So electric field is equal to, dx will be the distance between the plates. So I can have the potential to be V is equal to E into D. Substitute for V as, substitute here. Now let me write the formula. Here V is equal to E into D. So what is E? E is Q by epsilon naught A into D. So this is the formula for potential. Now I am going to substitute this value of V in the capacitance formula, which is Q by V. So Q by V is Q by will come, it is the denominator, so I will take it to the numerator. Epsilon naught A into D will be there. So this Q and Q gets cancelled. So here is the formula for capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. Now when I am going to substitute the value of epsilon naught as 8.85 into 10 power minus 12 and area to be 1 meter square and D is going to be 10 power minus 3 meter, I will have the value of capacitance to be 8.85 into 10 power minus 9 farad. Usually the capacitance is, we will take only the smaller value. Here it is 10 power minus 9 farad, in this it is nanofarad. So here is the formula for capacitance, and from this formula we can say that the capacitance depends on not E, not C, not Q, everything. Now it depends on what? It depends upon the area of the capacitor, and it depends upon the distance between the two plates of the capacitor, and also and also depends upon epsilon naught value. Epsilon naught is nothing but permittivity of the medium that is existing. So this is about the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor, right? Now there is a small problem that has to be discussed. I'll just give you the formula, children. You just try to solve the sum and get me the answer. Okay. So number of electrons are given. N is given 1 into 10 power 12. Okay. So Q is equal to N, you have to find out. Substitute C is equal to Q by V. Now you have the answer 1.6 into 10 power minus 8 farad. I want you to get this answer. The question is they are supposed to find out the capacitance. Okay, so solve this problem. I'll discuss the answer tomorrow in the class. Okay, potential is given, substitute and find out the answer. It's a very simple problem. Okay, ma? See you tomorrow.